Hey everyone, John Picozzi here. We had a question on our YouTube channel to one of our modules of the week. And I'm going to do a quick demo to hopefully help answer that question. So the module was organograms, which is super fun to say. And the person asking was just wondering how you set up organograms. So let's take a look at Drupal here. And basically, what I'm starting with is Drupal 10, just a basic Drupal 10 install running on DDev, and the organograms module. So those are the only things I have installed right now. So let's start here with looking at kind of the finished product. So you can see here I have organograms corp org. I'm actually just going to show this to you guys because this is what we are going to finish with here. So you can see this is kind of what we're going with, right? This is just a basic corporate structure of an organization. So to get this started, organograms actually works in the taxonomy. So I did that kind of quick the first time around. I'll slow down a little bit here. If you come in and hit taxonomy, you'll see that you have this new button after installing the module, add organogram. So if I hit add organogram, I can name my organogram. So we'll call this corp org 2. And then when we get in here, this works just the same way as adding taxonomy. So if I come in here and I add, you have the ability to import items, export items. So if I wanted to share between sites, I could probably do that. But if I go in and add a term, and let's mimic what we've already done here. So I have a CEO, right? That's the head of my company. You have relationships, same as taxonomy. The difference here is you have this positions dropdown that Organigrams adds for you. Two options in here. You can't actually see those options because they're in a drop down. But if you're looking at them, one is here. I'll switch to them so you can see them. So one is staff function, and I'll explain what that kind of does, or my understanding of what that does. And then the other is below the parent. So right now for the CEO, I'm going to set this to none because he's going to be or she is going to be at the top of the list here, right? So we've added a term. That's pretty straightforward. I'm going to add a couple other terms here, and then we'll kind of organize those terms as we go. So CFO, and that's going to be below. I'm going to say below the parent because that person reports to the CEO. So we've added our CFO. Let's add a COO. Again, I'm going to go below the parent because he's going to be, or she, like I said, is going to be below the CEO. And then the last one is going to be a CTO. Save. Okay. And then we're going to add a couple of teams here. Now, the way I kind of understand the staff function part position in the drop down there is that it allows for you to kind of set like organizational units, and I'll show on the diagram how this breaks out. But basically, the way I think about it is like below the parent is going to go below a parent item. Staff function is going to kind of go across the diagram, right? So I think in my previous one, I said web development team here. So I'm going to use that again, and I'm going to set that as a staff function. And in my relationship here, this is actually going to be under the CTO. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to create another one for CRM, like the CRM team, right? So that is also going to be under the CTO. And that's going to be a staff function as well. So those are kind of two teams that the CTO has reporting to him. Now, in those teams, I'm going to actually have a director of each, right? So a director of CRM. And I'm going to put that in the CRM team here. And again, that's going to be below the parent. So we're going to put that into as it is a person or a position. We're going to put that underneath here, but it's going to go below that team. And I'm going to just keep going, keep adding folks here. I'm going to do a director of web development as well. And this is very much kind of works the way taxonomy works. You're basically just setting up your kind of hierarchy within your taxonomy. Let's do a web developer on the dev team. And I mean, this is really me just spitballing here. So I'm getting pretty creative. And then the last thing I actually added to illustrate was a VP of AI, right? So Vice President of Artificial Intelligence. And that person reports to the CTO, and he's going to be below the parent, all right? So let's go back here. And now that we've added all this stuff, let's go back into our taxonomy page. So you'll see our Corp Org 2. Let's list the terms there. You'll see kind of all the layout that we've added here, right? And we might have to adjust some of this, some of the way this flows, but let's take a look at our chart and see. So if you go to the view here, you're going to see, well, that doesn't look quite right at all now, does it? All right, well, you might have to rearrange some of these things, set some of the relationships to some of these things. You can see the CTO, he's looking pretty good here. It's flowing the way that I would maybe expect it to flow. But let's take a look and see if we can get this to look more like our example here. So here we want to nest these, right? So we can automatically see if these aren't nested the way that we want them to be, right? So we're going to nest all those. We have this nested here and that nested there. Let's save this and see how this looks now. Let's go back to the View tab. Starting to look a little bit better here. So you have our team, right? So we have our CRM team here. We have our director level under the CRM. We have our web development team. We have the director here, the web developer here. Now, these two people are side by side because, again, our hierarchy might not be 100% correct here, right? So director web development, this person is probably reporting to that person. So let's slide that under there, hit save. And now this is looking a little bit more like our diagram. Maybe web development team and CRM team were switched in my original diagram, but let's go back. We can do kind of a side-by-side here. So this is our first one, right? And then if we go back into this and here and look at our original, right? We're seeing that looks pretty similar. I did add an accountant under the CFO, but you guys can do that on your own. I will say one thing that I did run into here that was a little bit of a gotcha was in some instances the table was cached, didn't refresh right away. Two ways I was able to handle that. One, in my terminal, I just clear the cache using Drush every time I wanted to refresh the page or every time I noticed it didn't update. The other thing I did here was I went under development in Drupal. This is an edition of Drupal 10.2, I think. You have the ability to check this box that says do not cache the markup. And that actually really helped. I didn't have to clear the cache via the command line after I checked that box, and the chart was able to update. So hopefully this has been helpful. Feel free to join us in the Talking Drupal Drupal Slack channel and post any questions or comments there. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.